Cardinals may not have beaten the 49ers, but at least they did get a positive to work on. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz alongside NFL.com's Pat Kirwan with you, breaking down the... Who's playing?
Seattle and Arizona.
Thank you. The Cardinals may not have beaten the 49ers, but they did get a positive to work on. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz alongside NFL.com's Pat Kirwan with you, breaking down Seattle's trip to Arizona. And, Pat, it's hard to look at the Cardinals and say no receiver had more than 22 yards. That was Anquan Boldin, but that's what happened. But they did get 161 yards running the football. That's something that they didn't do at all last year. What, in this aspect, do they try to change here?
Well, Kenny Wisenhunt took the blame and put it right on his own shoulders like I knew he would. What he said was, I typically, and this happens to a lot of young coaches, he had a too big of a game plan. He just kept piling, hey, might be able to do this, we might be able to do that. At the end of the day, they tried to practice too many things they didn't even get a chance to use in the game. I think even Larry Fitzgerald said, hey, coach, come on now. So Wiz came right out and said, we're going to run the ball like we did, but we're going to get rid of a lot of stuff. And that means get the ball in the hands of Larry Fitz and Boldin a little more. They had 7 for 42. That's unacceptable. And now here comes Seattle. And Seattle's a team that's really owned the NFC West for a long time, and those things are starting to change.
And Seattle's a team that's won the NFC West 3 times, but defensively, are they the type of team that will allow Arizona to run for 150, 160 yards?
No, they may not, but the one thing they already now know is there's a commitment to the running game. There's an effort to run the football. You know that Grimm is the offensive line coach. He's not going to get far away from his roots as a Pittsburgh Steeler coach. So they are going to run the ball, and they're going to put themselves in a position to get third and shorts, but they'll take more shots to the 2 receivers that they like so much. You know, Matt Leinart doesn't really care about the history here that the Seattle team has 10-3 against the NFC West in the last 13 games. He's 3-1 against the NFC West. He has no intention of going into this game and worrying about trying to beat Seattle.
Well, talk to me about Matt Leinart, because obviously when you run the football, that's going to help a young quarterback. But the problems against San Francisco, do they come up again this week?
You know, I look and I don't see the matchup corner. I don't see the Nate Clements in the secondary. I think he's going to have more success than he had with the San Francisco secondary. And a year ago, that was just the weakness of San Francisco, and now their strength. I don't see the Seattle matching up the same way.
All right, offensively for the Seahawks, they lose DJ Hackett, a high ankle sprain. They still have Bobby Ingram. They still have Nate Burleson coming in. Is this a game where you see them giving a lot of balls through the air, or is this a game where you see a heavy dose of Sean Alexander?
I think this team, the core of this team is Sean Alexander. Go in and run the football. They haven't had great success doing it, but I do think they're going to try and feed the ball to Sean in the 25 to 30 range. And understand that their receivers aren't the same as they were, and so that's where I see the game going. I wonder if they wish they had Darrell Jackson back.
Of course, he's with San Francisco, and San Francisco is also part of a 1-0 team. All right, we're adding a new part to the previews. It's called the AccuScore Prediction. It's a computerized element. It takes everything into account, weather to players, runs the game 10,000 times, and spits out 10,000 results. And in this test, in this game, basically 50-50. Half the time Seattle won, half the time Arizona won. Add some human element.
The first thing I would have done is given it to 10,000 more guys, because if you come up 50-50, you haven't learned a thing. I'll make a decision for you. I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to win this game. They had the best division record last year at 4-2, and I think they are coming off a loss of a game they should have won, and it's their second division game. You cannot afford to go 0-2 to start your year in your division. Arizona wins the game. How about that?
Pat, here's something else the computer said. You talked about Leinart. It said 65% of the time he threw for more than 220 yards. So that's not 50-50.
Oh, well.
So we learned something.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mr. Computer.
All right, folks, there you have it. The Seahawks trying to start 2-0 for the 4th time in 5 years. The Cardinals, as you said, you can't start 0-2. They're trying to avoid 0-2 for the 4th time in 5 years. The 2 kick off at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. And for more on this game and the rest of Week 2, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com. For Pat Kirwan, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.